Okay, here's a problem image. Problem is the light source is behind the subject, and therefore the light is casting a shadow over the subject. Well, let's fix it. Okay, let me bring in the layers palette here, and I'm going to make a duplicate copy of the background, Control J. Now watch what I do. I'm going to change this blending mode from normal to screen. Okay, let's take a look at the shadow area, which is the wall of the house. Not much of an improvement, but there is some improvement. Let's duplicate that layer again, Control J. A little bit better. Still a lot of shadows, and a lot of shadows in the back area, but I suspect that the back of the house over here in this area I'll never be able to recoup. Let's make one more copy, Control J, and now I begin to see the wall of the house. Okay, so that's what I want. I want to be able to see the wall and the front of the house. So now I'm going to merge these layers together by holding down Control and hitting the letter E, and that merges that layer with that one, and Control E one more time, and now I've got my layer with the house and the walls, and I can see them, but everything else is blown out. Well, that's what masks are for. So we're going to create a mask. I'm going to hold down my Alt key and click on the Create New Layer Mask. And now what I can do is, because black conceals and white reveals, black is concealing the layer of the screen layer that we just modified. So all I want to do is bring in the wall of the house and the front of the house to make it look like that. So I'll use a white brush. Let me get a brush with the appropriate size. Okay, that looks about good. And let me increase my opacity up to around 50% or so. And we can change that if we need to. And let's begin to make sure we're on the layer mask, and let's begin to paint in some of that detail that's in the shadows. Okay, let me move the layer palette right out of the way. Let's get in close. Okay, it's beginning to come to life. I suspect the back of this house is not going to be all that easy. I think that's just totally clipped. And let's see what we can do in the front of the house here. Looking better. And let's get some of these bush foliage areas too. Okay, that's looking much gooder. Much gooder than it was. Okay, let's zoom right out to 100%. Now, one thing I do notice though is there seems to be a sort of like a yellowish greenish hue to the house, probably from a reflection of the foliage back onto the house. We'll be able to take care of that. The way we'll take care of that is we'll make a hue saturation adjustment layer, and just click OK. Don't do anything, just click OK. And what we're going to do is we're going to duplicate disk mask by holding down the Alt key and just dragging it right up to the hue and saturation. And you get this dialog box that do you want to replace this layer mask, and you say yes. Now, anything we do to the hue and saturation will only affect the areas that we've already masked. So let's go ahead and see if we can get rid of that greenish yellowish hue. So if I go into the yellows here, and let me see, yeah, that looks like that was about it. So I'm going to adjust to get rid of that yellowish hue, and maybe make it bring in some reds, and that looks more gooder right there. Okay, let's take a look at what we got here. This is what we began with, and that's what we wound up with. And so next time you inadvertently make the same mistake I did, you put your subject in front of the light source, well, you've got a solution to the problem now. Thank you.